Good afternoon, parents, faculty, staff, administrators, and especially the distinguished class of 2016. Today is a day of great joy and accomplishment, a day of bittersweet closure, a day in the year 2016 that we've thought of since elementary school as merely an abstract number useful only on school forms or web logins, and only subconsciously understood to be the year that we would walk out from the halls of Montclair High School and begin the diaspora that will fling us to the far reaches of the country and the world. We know by now that this day, in this year, has arrived. Suddenly, we realize that everything we considered incredibly significant in the context of high school is beginning to melt away as we face the next chapter of our lives. It's time to say a fond goodbye to the hallway gossip, to friends and teammates, goodbye to hot bagels abroad, and awful parking situations. Goodbye to our common slang vocabulary and, in a greater sense, to our adolescence. And for many of us, it is time to say goodbye to Montclair as the place where we spend the majority of our waking days. I know those of us who will be leaving are excited for new scenery, new people, and certainly new freedoms. It's a constant battle to try to temper expectations when nostalgic adults and our friends who've already graduated Montclair High School relay stories of grandeur for what awaits us when we leave here. Very recently, someone said to me paradoxically, "You're about to have the greatest years of your entire life. Just make sure not to ruin them by expecting too much." While we might be eager to leave our beautiful hometown, it deserves at least a few moments of reflection and gratitude. We have been privileged to be raised in one of the most racially, culturally, and socioeconomically diverse towns in the country, if not the world. Look at the faces of our graduating class. In most other places, the beauty of this heterogeneity is nowhere to be found. And what has this diversity given us? A home with a spirit of respect and tolerance. A cultural colossus with institutions like the Montclair Film Festival and our own prolific School of Visual and Performing Arts. A political consciousness where rallies by students protesting injustices are supported and encouraged. As we venture out from this town, we will see that Montclair is not even close to a microcosm of the rest of the world. We will walk through places rife with prejudice and violence, hatred, and ignorance. We need look no further than the news. From a court case involving a Stanford student convicted of rape, to the horrors perpetrated in a nightclub in Orlando, all the way up to the incivility and bigotry that has defined the election for president of these United States, you see a growing sickness pervading our country. And so I challenge this class to carry on the lessons of this town. And what exactly do I mean by this? Every time somebody with the ability to recognize intolerance faces another who practices it, that person must make a crucial choice. He or she might either hold himself or herself above and superior to the intolerant, denouncing and slandering them. It is the gut reaction of anyone witnessing hatred. Or rather, he or she might seek to help the intolerant understand and ease him or her out from their blind state. It is the latter mentality with which we must proceed. Few have achieved consciousness by being shamed into it. When attacked, ignorant people choose to retreat farther into their own prejudices. In many parts of this country, homophobia, racism, Islamophobia, and xenophobia run rampant. We must condemn these sentiments, but at the same time recognize that many of those who hate and fear the perceived others have had little to no experience or honest human communication with members of the communities they reject. And so meeting them with violence, even the violence of your words condemning them, is not the answer. In the words of the oft-quoted yet deservedly so, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who visited Montclair High School 50 years ago this year, darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that. This is exactly what I mean when I say we must carry on the lessons of Montclair. We know through experience that diversity does not splinter, but rather strengthens us. The privilege of this town's upbringing gives us the responsibility to act as good citizens by spreading acceptance and repelling fear. Now, as I turn to this graduating class, I know they can fulfill this obligation and so much more. As much as I wanted to avoid the whole achieve our dreams graduation cliche, it's difficult when considering this group of students. Expect these young men and women before you to assume the seats at the forefront of the arts industry, law, and politics. Expect them to headline newspapers and Broadway playbills alike. My claims may seem fantastical right now, but those of us who saw David Garrison's production of Girls Like That this year, or read anything that James Feinberg's pen touched, or heard the music of Liam Kaplan, or seen art by Monique Balzer, or a film by Max Polmansky, or any of the other countless achievements of this class that I can't afford to list right now, know that great successes await the class of 2016. Now, practically every news source and media pundits have referred to my peers and I as part of the worst generation. More concerned with documenting every second of our lives on social media and bathing in our own laziness and sense of entitlement than the woes of the world. Certainly we have our faults. Half of us have probably posted graduation photos on Instagram already. But though we are quick to criticize the overbearing role that our cell phones play in our lives, think of how the technology with which we've grown up has shaped the world. Just as the advent of television broadcasted and alerted the nation to the civil rights movement, cell phones now act as spotlights on atrocities and acts of valor alike. Social media has brought people closer to the political process and has increased the speed at which news travels. That being said, now, my peers, is not the time to live up to the negative stereotypes of our generation, to sit idly by in the box in which our forebears have placed us. The world may seem to be changing into a scary and dangerous place, but it is also beautiful. And as we're becoming adults in this world, it is our responsibility to preserve it. Because just as everyone seems to be reminding us, we have the best years of our lives at stake. And now, quickly and perhaps selfishly, I must use this platform to give a shout out to my parents. Thank you for everything you've done for me, from my first steps to the ones I took to this podium today. You have a son who loves you and is now honored and humbled to be graduating with his best friends. Thank you, everyone. I present to you the Montclair High School class of 2000.